Sheriff Todd Baxter, employees of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. District Attorney Brian P. Green, employees of the Monroe County District Attorney's Office. Alex Renzi, New York State Supreme Court. Paul C. Musk, James Miller Jr. in Penfield Court. $140,000 public defender Julie Sianka. My name is Chris Chichester. This document here is going to arrive Federal Express in the next 2 days that I'm going to read. So I went to Federal Express today at 1906 Monroe Avenue, Rochester, New York, running at 12 corners. So there's your name, Brian P. Green. There's Todd Baxter's name. It's Alex Renzi's name, New York State Supreme Court. There's Michael D. Giacomo. I should send it to these four, not send this to the public defender, because I'm going to be a waste of my money. But you'll get my correspondence every day real soon, Julie Sianka, because it's going to be day after day after day as I'm going to try to remove you as the public defender, how you have information in your possession, which is the names of my prosecuted silence, and you refuse to disclose it to me, which is corrupt and sick. So, Federal Express. This is real simple for Sheriff Todd Baxter in particular to respond to, because he's the one that makes the decision where I already know the answer and what to do about these criminals. I'm not writing a criminal complaint about people who are not criminals. Do you understand me? Perry Douglas at the District Attorney's Office. Megan Hausner at the District Attorney's Office. Michael Harrigan at the District Attorney's Office. Michelle Crowley at the District Attorney's Office. I'll say this so you understand. I'm not writing a criminal complaint about criminals in Monroe County that are not criminals. There are 5 criminals here. And this is why Todd Baxter, Sheriff of Monroe County, since January 1, 2018, is a disgusting, sick, pathetic joke. He's concocting crimes for me, where it's impossible for a prosecutor in Penfield Court, New York State Supreme Court, to make an argument that I committed a crime. And then he is ignoring what are, in fact, real crimes that are right here. So, these are the criminal complaints which are going to update with greater specificity and different language. But August 2nd, 2026. This is August 2nd, 2026 at 11:10 p.m. I don't know how long I'm going to be on here. Just want to check my phone. August 2nd, Sunday, 11:10 p.m. That's what it is now. And there are times where I'm concerned about the date of the documents, and if it goes past midnight, and is that really still relevant? And of course it is, as far as the language I'm using, and I'm just demanding information. But when I write the Freedom of Information Law, I want it to be the day that I come to YouTube and attach it into PDF. I don't want it to be the next day. So this has been sent as I'm on here, and it's August 2nd. It's going to arrive in the next 48 to 72 hours. I would have went to USPS, but it's Sunday, and they're closed. 5 criminal complaints for 5 criminals. Does not matter to Sheriff Todd Baxter that these are 5 criminals. What matters is concocting crimes for me who haven't committed any criminal act ever. That's what matters to this bald-headed fucking psychopath. Concocting crimes for me, which delivers silence to the prosecutor in Penfield Court and New York State Supreme Court because I haven't committed a crime. And a prosecutor can't make an argument, exercise the First Amendment right for fiction and lies for me that are the criminal complaints. These are crimes. You could tell me Perry Douglas at the District Attorney's Office or Michael Harrigan at the District Attorney's Office or the illustrious Michelle Crowley, if he's a grand jury that I don't know about, at the District Attorney's Office, or the 1 or 2 people at the District Attorney's Office that have integrity among you supervisors, if these are not crimes. If these are not crimes, then isn't that a false instrument for me? Or not? Because it is a crime in the state of New York to falsely report behavior that's not criminal behavior. This is criminal behavior. He's just ignoring the law. It's impossible to make an argument by Sheriff Todd Baxter, anybody at the Sheriff's Office, then District Attorney Sandra Dorley, President District Attorney Brian P. Green, anybody in the District Attorney's office, that these are not crimes. That's an impossible argument. No human being in the United States of America can make an argument that these 5 criminals are not criminals and that these 5 criminal complaints are not for criminal acts. Nobody can make that argument. And he's ignoring the law. Sheriff Todd Baxter. So I'm on here now 5 minutes. July 22nd, 2023. It's going to arrive in 48 hours. Todd Baxter, Sheriff 130 South Plymouth Avenue, Rochester, New York 14614. Senator George District Attorney 47 South 52, Rochester, New York 14614. Attached 4 criminal complaints with this language. 1. Richard J. Seaton, the Monmouth County Sheriff's Office, walked in the Public Library in Pembroke, New York, ran at Christopher Chichester, slammed his arm at the head of Chichester, causing him to fall backwards and hit his head on the ceramic tile floor. 2. Daniel Shah, Layla Kumar Shah, 2033 Pembroke Road, Pembroke, New York, 14526. Falsely reported an incident of Christopher Chichester, formerly 26 Hands from Drive, walked through a park lot next to his residence. Internal response failed, locked front and back doors of residence, 26 Hands from Drive, Pembroke, New York, without a court order. Law Riley, Webster, New York, transport the personal belongings of Christopher Chichester, 26 Hands from Drive, Pembroke, New York, to a storage locker in Webster, New York, without a court order. These are crimes. Each individual will not be arrested or prosecuted. There is a 1-day in jail served. These crimes destroy my life because you're incapable of identifying crime. You caught crimes from a citizen's hate human condition. 2 links here: rejection, paradox of Mark Monahan, unconstitutional. Sheriff Todd Baxter, District Attorney Sandra Dolly, Judge Alex Renzi resigned. Christopher Chichester, 620 Park Avenue, PMB, number 361, Rochester, New York. It's my former UPS box. Unconstitutional. I say it's unconstitutional, and it's a guess, because how am I in jail when the prosecutor stands there and it eats silence? And I also don't have a defense attorney. I've talked about that repeatedly. So, what you see right here, that's my language I wrote. Christopher Bryce notarized that for me. Layla Shah, Layla Kumar Shah, 50-year-old man lives with 70-year-old mother, this psychopathic freak. 4,000 times I walked through that parking lot. He sees people walk through this parking lot every goddamn day. This psychopath named Rothschild lives with his mother. That's me. That's my signature by him falsely reporting this incident. Me. Parking lot I've walked 4,000 times. My excellent friend Aaron Tarantino. I do not know if Adam still lives in Penfield, right next to me, 26 Sanders from Drive. He would say I walk through that parking lot all the time. Nobody's ever said anything to me. The elderly woman across the street, same thing. Penfield High School students in red athletic apparel. I walked through that parking lot. I used to, before Nayraj Shah and Layla Kumar Shah moved to Penfield, when Dr. Gloria Nichols was my dentist at 2033 Penfield Road, that's when I started to walk through the parking lot, because I moved there with my then girlfriend when we moved from Webster. I used to wind sprints in this parking lot. I'd wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning, stand on Sanders Farm Drive, run through the parking lot, past a business called Consumer Insights, run all the way down the parking lot, turn around. Sometimes Dr. Nichols would see me. She would say hello, because she knows people walk through this parking lot all day long. I'm going to talk about the land behind my residence, too, where you come and sees my dog, too. Antonio Spano, this is the one that really, I believe, is the most obvious. He locked the doors and locked me out without a court order. This old man, this 80-year-old man who lives in Fairport, New York. What's wrong with you, Todd Baxter? What's wrong with you is you're a lunatic and you're a freak and you're a psychopath. That's what's wrong with you. Ryan Webster took everything I owned to a storage locker. Every single thing I own is gone. My books are gone. My dress screens for 17 Cavalry 101st Airborne Division are gone. My BA's gone. All my clothes are gone. My running shoes are gone. My running jerseys are gone. My weight equipment is gone. Every single thing I own is gone because of Laura Riley taking things to a storage locker. And then she threw things out and kept things that are not hers. That belonged to me that we had an argument about, like my bookcase. Lunatic friends. So there it is right there. 4 criminals that Todd Baxter ignores. It's coming. It's on its way. Michael Houlihan, lying under oath. Criminal complaint for perjury, 73312 Michael Houlihan of Monmouth County Sheriff's Office. At 73312 Michael C. Houlihan of Monmouth County Sheriff's Office walked on private property, across the residence, 26 Sanders from John Penn, New York, Christopher Chichester. Houlihan ran at Chichester approximately 1 a.m. with $85,000 down better debt of Sheriff's Office. Chichester ran away from Houlihan and better debt. I want to know the identities. Chichester grabbed a hammer alongside his residence next to fix the bike's tire. As Chichester placed his foot on the first 3 steps back porch, Houlihan grabbed his arm, hammered Chichester's hands forced upwards. Chichester ran across the back porch through a sliding glass door, and as Chichester never stopped running, it's impossible to swing the hammer at 73312 Michael Houlihan. It's impossible to swing the hammer at 73312 Michael Houlihan. You fucking psychopath and freak. Michelle Crowley convening this grand jury that I don't know about. Now, why don't you call me to the grand jury, Michelle Crowley? What's the answer? Michelle Crowley, pay attention. Michael Houlihan comes into your district attorney's office. You meet with him, right? And then he says, what, I swung a hammer at him? And how did this happen as far as the grand jury? Is there a transcript? Did he describe this? Did you ask him questions? You were the ones that you were the director of the grand jury asking Michael Houlihan these questions. How long did this take? Was this 2 minutes and he was finished? Did the grand jurors ask questions? Does it matter at all? Michelle Crowley? Brian P. Green, district attorney. I have no idea if you're ever going to watch me here at 10 minutes. But what do you think about Michelle Crowley, who's now promoted from the director of grand jury to the deputy district attorney or something like that? What do you think about her convening this grand jury? And I don't know about it. I'm not called to testify. Would you, Mr. District Attorney, if you're watching me now here, conclude that that's unethical and that's a disgrace? Because it is. So, Michael Houlihan had to be investigated by the State Attorney General, the Office of State Attorney General. I'm going to be talking about that. I'm right now in the process of researching some of that. I don't have all the information. I think it's investigation into the death of Wesley Soper or something like that. I put the link in, I believe, the last correspondence, or one of the last correspondence I wrote about Michael Houlihan, as I'm looking at it from now, because then I could be able to see the link about this freaking psychopath Michael Houlihan. And it just does not matter to Todd Baxter. Michael Houlihan is a freaking psychopath. Just like when I use this document here, or use these documents here, abuse of power, April 1. They're all up here. Mailed to Azon Prosecutor Siles, listed in Rochester, New York, to the attached PDF documentation on April 1, 2023. 3 years ago. I don't hear anything. All these names that I just mentioned, February 16, 2023, read the attached PDFs as Freedom of Information Law, comply with the attached PDFs as Freedom of Information Law, disclose the names on Prosecutor Siles, resign. I don't hear anything from then District Attorney Sandra Doyle before she resigned with disgrace. February 9th, same thing, Todd Baxter, Sandra Doyle, silence and violence, silence and prosecutors delivering me to jail. Violence of the sheriff's office is raining down on me. With Richard Seaton and other psychopathic freaks, sworn officers of law, or violently attacking me. It's a letter I wrote on February 7, 2023 to Robert J. Valente at the United States Department of Veterans Affairs. I think about him like I would an angel in the Catholic Church, Robert Valente. He's helped me over and over and over. So, February 5th, information, Sandra Doyle, February 5th, 2020. This is why she's corrupt. Looked at it. I sent it to the UPS, United States Postal Service, Registered Mail, or Federal Express, January 24, 2023. Your freaks, 3 links, fanaticism, perjury, 73312, Michael Houlihan, violence, Sheriff Todd Baxter, Richard Seaton. January 24, 2023. 3+ years ago. They're still employed. I'm going to see if they got raises. Richard Seaton was paid $75,904. Michael Houlihan, $73,312. If they're still employed at the sheriff's office, they'll receive pay raises, which means it doesn't matter to Todd Baxter that Michael Houlihan lied under oath. It doesn't matter to Todd Baxter, Richard Seaton violently attacking contempt for public liability. It doesn't matter at all. And, I just don't write this once, because that's January 24, 2023. January 22nd, 2023, perjury of violence, because the reason why I was back on there 2 days later is that I was on YouTube again, like I am now. Perjury of violence. Again here, perjury, January 26, 2023, 73312, Michael Houlihan, the Monmouth County Sheriff's Office, lied under oath in a grand jury, convened by District Attorney Sandra Doyle. Criminal claim for perjury is attached PDF. This freak will not be fired. This freak will not be arrested. This freak will not be prosecuted. These you two freaks are defined by corruption. I don't know if he's been fired, and I would be really shocked if he was. I would be shocked if he was even disciplined. The sheriff, I'm trying not to laugh, who disciplines himself. You know about that freak show about him? I'm not going to talk about that right now, because that would be 5-10 minutes. And I don't want to talk about things I shouldn't, because this is the cop freak from hell, 83-291-42 Shannon M. Marsh. She set in motion everything for me. I'm going to come back here and talk about this parking lot in Penfield, New York, where I hold up the photo, because I couldn't locate it last time, so I didn't talk about it. Because I'm only going to talk about this parking lot in detail when I have the photo, the color photo, I can show up. But warrant for my arrest for a parking lot walked through 4,000 times. That's this cop freak right here, Shannon Meyer. He surrounds himself, Sheriff Todd Baxter, with freaks and lunatics and psychopaths and degenerates, like this freaking lunatic and psychopath and degenerate Shannon. When I talked to her on the phone for 30 minutes, I had to hold the phone away from my ear. How she's not listening to me, not listening to my answers, asking me these ridiculous questions like, do you walk through the parking lot? Do you want to walk through the parking lot? How often do you walk through the parking lot? And I'd be saying to her, are you calling my neighbors? Are you calling Penfield High School students? Are you calling my friend Adam that lives next to me? Because don't I have equal protection laws? And the answer, employees of the district attorney's office, I do have the equal protection laws to walk through this parking lot in Penfield, New York. And wouldn't you agree with that, Perry Duckles, that the 14th Amendment right of equal protection or other laws in the state of New York or other clauses in the Constitution give me the equal protection laws to walk through this parking lot free of arrest because 20, 30 people a day walk through this parking lot. So what makes me any different? The psychopath's cops make me any different. And Nayraj Shah. Any reason I believe that Shannon Myers in fear of him is that she's going to be his new favorite racist. This is only a guess. I'm confident this freaking psychopath Nayraj Shah that lives with his mother has been attacking people falsely as racist his whole life. So, disclosure. For Perry Douglas and Mark behind the Mountain District Attorney's Office, April 6th. I've read this just recently. I'm not going to read that again. When I was in Farmington, New York. I've now been in Farmingville, New York, since I'm from Long Island, and I would go to the ski bowl. And I've been in Farmingdale, New York, because the indoor track was there, and I was on the indoor track team for 4 years in high school. So I've been in Farmington, New York, Farmingville, New York, and Farmingdale, New York. And I was grateful I was at all three because I was a shelter, because I would have been outside. And I've already been outside. When you're outside in the elements, and it's raining, it's snowing, and the wind is on you, that's always with you. And that's because I've been locked out of 2 residences by psychopath landlords. Landlords can do whatever they want to citizens of the state of New York. And every sheriff's office and every district attorney's office and every police department will ignore those landlords. When I'm sleeping on a bench in Harris Whalen Park at 2 o'clock in the morning and I'm trying to get to sleep, as ridiculous as it sounds, I'm trying to have some awareness of what's around me. And there are people in this park that are standing right next to me at 2 o'clock in the morning on the baseball field, or at least I could see them yards away. Would you say that my life is at risk? Because that's not hysterical or ridiculous, because it is. Because if someone's in a park at 2 o'clock in the morning and you're trying to get to sleep, nothing good comes of that. Because anything can happen, including murder. So, do you understand what I'm talking about? How I'm sleeping outside because of Antonio Spano? July 16, 2023, unconstitutional. Your office is receiving criminal complaint from the next days about 80-year-old Antonio Spano. Fairport and locked me in a residence, Penfield, New York, without a court order, would not be arrested because age. Your office received a criminal complaint from the next 7 days about Nayraj Shah. Penfield, New York, false reporting criminal acts, walked through a park like 4,000 times. You will not be arrested because your Kool-Aid drinks can't identify for crime. Your office received a criminal complaint from the next 7 days about 7594 Richard Seaton violently assaulting Penfield Library. He will not be arrested or fired because he's a Miami County Sheriff's Office employee. July 16, 2023, I just read this again. I was on here on YouTube, but 3 years later, on July 16, 2026. So your office received a criminal complaint. July 16, 2023. And that criminal complaint arrived because this is July 22nd, 2023. Richard Seaton, Nayraj Shah, Kumar Shah, Antonio Spano, Law Riley. 5 days later, Michael Houlihan. The law's a joke to Todd Baxter. The law's a joke to former District Attorney Sandra Doyle. If by some miracle these criminals are arrested, it's no jail time, because what she's going to do is just direct the prosecutor to dismiss the charges. They can't be bothered with crimes like these crimes that are real crimes. Resignation in disgrace. She will always be a resignation in disgrace, District Attorney Sandra Dorley. Just like I'm not comparing her to Richard Nixon because she's not the President of the United States. But there is certain behavior by powerful elected officials, no matter how much good they do, it does not matter. The so-called opening to China by Richard Nixon or other things that he did in foreign policy, all that's totally irrelevant. When Richard M. Nixon, where book after book after book has been written about him by some of the greatest historians in American history, the opening to China doesn't matter. None of his foreign policy matters. Anything with the Soviet Union at the time doesn't matter. How he was essentially funding the Great Society of Lyndon Johnson, where he's this big government spending liberal. Yet he's still hated by Democrats. That doesn't matter at all. Nothing that Richard Nixon did, from January 1969, in taking office, until Marine One flew him away from the White House on August 10th, 1974. All that is essentially totally irrelevant as far as how Richard Nixon is remembered in history. Because it's always the Watergate break-in in June 1972. It's how he is attempting to avoid impeachment and the corrupt, sleazy, disgusting things he's doing in trying to avoid it. And then there is, of course, the delegation that are Republicans that go to the White House that tell the president he no longer has Republican support. All this leads Richard Nixon to be a resignation disgrace. And this is why I'm belaboring this, is that he will always be a resignation disgrace. This is what he's going to be remembered for. Just like Sandra Dorley, people will never remember, let's say, Kelvin Vickers and how he was prosecuted under her and other things she's done as far as crime and violence or anything like that. Nobody's going to remember a goddamn thing about Sandra Dorley, any court case, any defendant, any heroism of her in a courtroom. It's always going to be for District Attorney Sandra Dorley, how she wouldn't pull her vehicle over for the Webster, New York police, and then she's going berserk and going nuts in her garage, using profanity, trying to intimidate him, holding up that fake badge. I'm going to demand where she got that badge and who issued it to her, which I was already doing, and the law was ignored. So here I am at 21 minutes at 11:28 p.m., and August 2nd, it's arriving. You see. So you'll probably get this YouTube link on August 3rd. I'm going to send it to you the Proton Mail or an Outlook account. It's already arrived. Sometimes I will come here with the documentation and I'll print it out the next day and send it to you. This is already coming. It's arriving. It's not going to matter to Todd Baxter if these are crimes here. What is the status of my 5 criminal complaints? He'll ignore it. Richard Sieben, Nate Shah, Leonard Kumar Shah, Laura Riley, Antonio Spala, Michael Lane. If these are not crimes here, if Todd Baxter doesn't think that these are crimes, why sign my name? You could charge me with falsely filing criminal act, false reporting this. He just ignores the law. This is why he's corrupt. This is why he's a freak. This is why he's a psychopath. This is why he's a degenerate. Which, Seaton broke my glasses. This is my new glasses prescription because of him. I had to get new glasses because you can't wear glasses that are smashed in half. I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do. Antonio Spana locked the doors and locked me out. Well, I had to go to Salvation Army. And then I moved to 275 Park Avenue from Morton Properties, where I was there for 30 months. And they locked me out. So I'm at the shelter in Farmington, New York. And I didn't know what to do. And they drove me to Evergreen on East and Fairport. I met with them. So I really wasn't thrilled about having to do this. The reason why I'm mentioning this is that the locking the doors and locking me out by Morton Properties delivers me here to Evergreen on East. I was definitely not going to go there because I was not thrilled at all about, what I saw here and, my interaction with them. And this happened on March 5th, 2026. So I'm going to be talking about these freaks and psychopaths soon. Dump RG&E. RG&E is a reason why Morton Properties locked doors and locked me out without a court order, without a court appearance. Employees at the district attorney's office, the sheriff's office. So this is where I am. Sheriff Todd Baxter, send Richard Sieben over here to East Avenue, South Union Street. And then when I exit the residence here, Richard Sieben can run at me, slam his arm into my head. I'll fall backwards. My head will slam against the concrete because that's what he did in the Independent Public Library. It was a ceramic tile floor. But still, my head is hitting a hard surface. Todd, baby, send Richard Sieben over here. Tell him to violently attack me, and then you could use the blue wall silence because you are the absolute freak show, walking and talking embodiment of the blue wall silence, Sheriff Todd Baxter. So send Sieben over here. Have him violently attack me. And then you can send Michael Houlihan over here. And then when I leave here to walk down South Union Street or East Avenue, you get Michael Houlihan outside, who in a fiction of fantasy land that occupies his corrupt fucking brain, I could say I swung a hammer at him, and then could drive me out to Geneseo, New York, to be in Livingston County Jail because of Michael Houlihan. What Sheriff Todd Baxter does not know employees at the district attorney's office. I don't laugh on here like I used to, and I'm really not trying to be funny. And sarcasm can not be funny. And I don't think I'm funny and I'm not trying to be funny. But what Todd Baxter does not understand is that Richard Seaton and Michael Houlihan are corrupt psychopath freak cops. And they're going to continue to behave this way, which endangers him. And it doesn't matter to him at all. Sheriff Todd Baxter is the blue wall silence for Richard J. Seaman at $75,000. Sheriff Todd Baxter is the blue wall silence for Michael Houlihan at $73,000. So, over and over, I've told you at the district attorney's office, the sheriff's office, to tell me who my prosecutor's silence are. So, Michelle Crowley. Michelle Crowley, Chief of the Grand Jury Bureau from Monroe County District Attorney's Office. My name is Chris Chichester. I live at 26 Sanders Run Drive in Penfield. On August 28, 2020, I exit my back porch. I begin to walk alongside my residence. Running at me from the private property of my 70-year-old neighbor, Don Benedetto, and in the Monroe County Sheriff Office employee with the last name Houlihan. I turn around and run away. Now you listen to me, you disgusting, sickening, repulsive hack. Michelle Crowley, when I began to run, I did not stop running. I run alongside my residence, back to the back porch. Houlihan and Benedetto reach me, Michelle Crowley. I had just grabbed the hammer. I'm about to run across the back porch, through the sliding glass door I had just exited 60 seconds earlier. Houlihan grabs my arm. The hammer goes up. I pull away. I run across the back porch and through the sliding glass door. What crime did I commit, Michelle Crowley? Because you indicted me for this disgusting, insane concoction. You know how I found out I was indicted for, quote, attempted felony assault, end quote? My public defender, Regina Harper, called me and told me. So, Michelle Crowley, Esquire, why didn't you call me to the grand jury to testify? Because Houlihan perjured himself to your grand jury when he said I swung a hammer at him. It is impossible for me to swing a hammer at psychopath Houlihan when I ran the whole time. Director of the grand jury, Michelle Crowley, and how come you didn't call me? Director of the grand jury, Michelle Crowley, why didn't you call me to the Monroe County District Attorney's Office at 47 South Bidgeview for an interview? I would have came in person. You could have talked to me on the phone. What are the answers to these questions, Director of the grand jury, Michelle Crowley? You know what I am? You know exactly what I am. I'm a ham sandwich. Quote, you can indict a ham sandwich. I'm a ham sandwich. District Attorney Brian Green, Michelle Crowley, Director of the Grand Jury, Monroe County District Attorney's Office, and Michael Houlihan of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Sheriff Todd Baxter perjured himself and lied under oath when he said I swung a hammer at him on my back porch in Penfield, New York. It was impossible to swing a hammer at this freaking psychopath, as the body camera shows, when I ran away the whole time across my back porch through my sliding glass door. I have never committed a crime, and I certainly didn't attempt to assault Michael Houlihan in the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Sheriff Todd Baxter. My name is Christopher Chichester. I live in Rochester, New York. I have been an innocent man my whole life.